All right. So I think we're good to go, which is great. And let's just jump right into it. So, all right. So we are going to officially begin our 3-day product challenge. Again, welcome everyone for you guys being here and all you guys participating in the chat here in the Zoom room. If you are watching it in the link on, in the Facebook group, then you can, you're welcome to join us on Zoom here. Again, the registration is, I think we sent it out to you guys a bunch. So it's, was it amzinsiders.org/product, but you have to register to attend. But yeah, so let's jump right into it. Today, I want to set some expectations about what we're going to get today and really the goal of what we're going to do overall too. So a couple housekeeping things in addition to the Facebook group, we put on email too. This is not our software. It's just the software that we use. And we're going to walk through and include both over the 3-day period. So really recommend you get it. If you go to amzproductspotter.com, and Joey, do you mind putting that in the link in the chat for everyone too? I know a bunch of you guys already have this, so you're good to go. Even if you're not sure long-term you want to use it, you can always use it and cancel it after a month. But they are the industry leader, and it's what we used we've got thousands of products that we sell, and we think they're the best out there. That's the only reason we recommend it. I don't know, is it, or do you have to put the, I don't know how you can hyperlink. All right, cool. Awesome. So again, that's just real quick there. And again, for us doing this product challenge, they actually gave us a special discount for any of you guys attending here by using that amzproductspotter.com link. So make a note of that. Cool. Let's just, we're not going to spend much time on this, but Joey and ourselves, if you're not familiar with us, some of you guys are in our coaching program, so you guys know us really well. But Joey and I are both successful sellers first in the Amazon space, and we've helped thousands of people succeed and grow. So we've spoken at a lot of events, and both on my end here, known for growing a business to over $100 million. We broke that on Amazon. We broke that point in 2018. And I used to share this like every month, our stats and our brands. Besides like the big numbers, doing it 3.81 million in one brand and 2.586 million in the other brand. The thing I've always been proud of is just our continuous growth and continually finding ways to kind of reinvent yourself, which to me is what entrepreneurship is about in a big way. It's about always finding new ways and being excited. And so right now in 2023, the stuff Joey and I are going to share with you, I think really fits that bill. So again, longtime seller, co-founder of AMZ Insiders, spoken at tons of events. We have, the biggest Facebook group, which is really cool about these 3 days. We're going to talk a lot about AI. I'll tee it up really tomorrow. We're going to do a deep dive. I'll give you a little taste today, but we've got like some game-changing tools we're going to share with you, whether you're a brand new seller or whether you're already doing, $1 million plus a year or several million, that you're going to really help you on the product side. So we've got a ton of experience between ourselves and shared. And on Joey's side, I'll key it off, but certainly hand it to Joey. But Joey is a rock star in the space. She is now speaking on stages. She built from 0 to $1 million and over $1 million in basically a little over 12 months. She actually came through our coaching program initially. She's got an industry-leading podcast called Fearless Sellers. So definitely recommend you guys go find Fearless Sellers. If you search under Amazon, under Apple, or on Spotify or whatever app you use, you'll find it. But she has a ton of great info on there, and it's the #1 ranked podcast in the industry. But Joey, do you want to share just another introduction of yourself as well?
Yeah, Jamie, that was a really nice introduction. But yes, I wanted to sell on Amazon. I didn't know how to do it. So I actually Googled top 100 sellers, and this was at the end of 2020. And I came across Jamie Davidson and AMZ Insiders, and I applied for the program and I joined, and I grew my first Amazon business 0 to about 1.2 million in 12 months. And I ended up selling it. I exited that, and I now sell again. I started a new brand. I wrote a book. I sell that, and I sell a new brand that is focused on women's health products. And I see some questions coming in somebody asking what products are you selling? So yeah, I sell women's health products. And also in the chat, if you want to switch it to everyone, it's kind of fun when we can all see each other's questions, or you can just leave it hosts and panelists. But I think it's nice when we can all see each other.
Yep. Yeah, we'll definitely answer some questions, definitely at the end. So feel free to put your questions in there. Hey, Anand's in here. Good to see you. And actually ideally put your questions in the chat, not the Q&A is preferred, just because we'll see it. We'll keep an eye on it. We may answer some on the fly, but we want to make sure we get you guys your info to help you guys out. And between the two of us, we'll keep an eye on it. So again, really, really excited for today. Just to lay the groundwork up front for you guys. One, congratulations for showing up, right? Coming here and attending, because I know, for me, investing time into your own knowledge is the best investment you can make, because there's so much you can do. No upfront, there's nothing to buy. We don't have an offer for you guys to buy anything. So put your wallets away. Matter of fact, to work with us, as Joey talked about working with us, you can't buy your way into the program. There's no link. You can't go to our website and just sign up to work with us, just because we do have a process to see who's a good fit around that anyways. But the point of this is really to help you with the product, right? To find the product. And the reason Joey and I are doing this, we only do this like once or twice a year. Only time we've done this in all of 2023 is because we know whether you're a new seller or an experienced seller, it's the number one thing, right? People wonder about or worry about is, hey, what should I sell on Amazon? Or even if you have ideas like, how do I do this in a way that's going to be successful, right? Because I always say, if you get the product piece right, everything else about the Amazon business is so much easier. And we're going to go into that quickly. We're going to move quickly too. So we're not going to spend hours and hours online here with you. So make sure you pay attention, close out of other websites, other apps. Ideally, turn your phone onto airplane mode. Take some notes. I always have my little trusty notebook here and pen. Take some notes around things. We have some really good info again that we're going to share with you guys. The groundwork here is we're setting the expectations now. Today we'll give you a little bit about Amazon at the high level. A lot of you guys know about it. And actually, while I'm saying this, do me a favor. One thing in the chat: if you are currently selling on Amazon, put a number 1 in the chat for me, if you don't mind. And if you are, so if you're already selling, put a 1, right? If you're already selling, yeah. And if you're not selling yet, put a 2, right? You're interested, you're researching it. So yeah, I see 1, Debbie's 2, Amy 2. Yeah, 1, tons of 1s and 2. So we have a great mix. Awesome. So we love this. And so this will be perfect. And that's helpful to know. So I'm going to talk a little about niches and categories. I've got a really cool stat I'm going to show you guys, which is, Joey and I sometimes like to talk about beginning with the end in mind, which is like, what's your objective with the Amazon business? Is it like Joey, she'll share a little bit about exiting a brand for a big amount of money in a short period of time? Or do you want to hold on for a longer period of time? But regardless, it's good to know if using that example, if you were going to sell your business in a year, 2 years, 3 years, the people that would be interested in buying it, what type of categories are they interested in? Because if you knew that information, it might help you decide a little bit upfront which product categories you want to spend the most time researching, right? Because as much as it's fun to be in this business, it's fun to be an entrepreneur, at the end of the day, we're all in it to make money, right? Make money to support your personal why. All right. So I'm going to show you some of that there as well too. We've got some really cool AI tools. We're going to really go deep tomorrow on it. I'll share 1 or 2 on that, but we don't want to jump into that right away. But just know that there's some really cool ways we've been experimenting and implementing and how to basically do everything that the fundamentals that we've known for the last several years, how to do it faster, quicker, better, and at lower cost. And so we're going to share those with you too, which is I think you're really going to enjoy, and it's going to give you a nice leg up on everyone. And then, the tools we already talked about. Helium 10 is the tool, that AMZ product spotter, if you want to. And then we have some accountability, right? So we want you guys to do some work, right? The point of the challenge is to help you guys by the end of day 3 that you're ready to go. Or if you're already working through an idea, that you're further along with it and that you're ready to execute. Ideally, the scenario is that, from today and by day 3, that you're ready to go and you're ready to launch that product, or at least take the next step towards towards looking to move forward with that idea. All right. So I already mentioned the Helium 10 stuff, so your guys are good there. Again, just because that's the tool we're going to be using and showing you guys. If we can't, like I said, we only recommend tools that we actually use ourselves. And Helium 10, it's $1 billion plus company. Joey and I spent time at their headquarters out there just a few weeks ago. Matter of fact, twice. So they really know what they're doing and recommend. So we're going to hold off on these really cool tools, but just to whet the appetite a little bit, here's one tool for you up front, d-id.com. And we're going to go in more in depth. And we do a lot more of this in the program and in our coaching program and to really walk people through on how you can leverage these tools when you're going to launch your product. But this is one example where literally you can have, without you ever being the face of your brand, you can have a really powerful representative of your brand. And this D-ID is so powerful that their third tab after product technology is actually ethics, because you can use it. You have to make sure you use it for good versus evil. So again, we're going to really focus on this tomorrow, but wanted to do that. Let me skip over that. And before here, we're not going to jump into this now too. We have some people, like a lot of you guys are members of our community. So are part of our AMZ Insiders community, part of our coaching program. So they're like part of our AMZ Insiders family. Matter of fact, we spent some time with some of them in person last week at a big Amazon event. But I'll give you guys some info for those that is get into it. This is only for a certain set of people that are like, hey, I really want some help. I'm really serious. I'm ready to go. We'll talk about that more, but we'll give you that info as well. So all that being said, let's jump into it. For what you guys are here for, which is let's talk about product selection. Again, I'm going to drill into the tools and give you guys a little bit more granular. But I thought it would be great if Joey, if you're willing to, again, I mentioned that Joey went from 0 to 7 figures, over $1 million. And some of you guys may have heard the story. She has a great podcast episode on it, on her Fearless Sellers podcast. She's spoken at some really big events, and I've seen really big sellers get kind of blown away by how she did kind of some of the strategies that we're going to share with you, how she actually implemented it and went about finding her actual product. So Joey, do you mind sharing a little bit about your story and how you approached, finding a winning product?
Yeah, sure. And I do see someone says it's cutting in and out. So hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. If not, go ahead and leave messages and try to troubleshoot. But anyway, so I do want to say the right product for me to sell is different than all of you to sell. And what I mean by that is you have to find the right product for you. So the way that I approach it is I like really big margins. And there's a lot of reasons I like my margins big. The two main reasons I like big margins is one, you have to sell less units to make more profit, right? That sounds really good. Sell less, make more per unit. And also there's more money in your marketing budget and there's room for error. And that's really how I started my Amazon journey. I didn't even know what I was going to sell, but I thought my goal is to make $100 per unit sold. So that means I was looking at something selling on Amazon for around 200 or more with fees and everything that you have to take out. So ideally, I was looking to buy something from a supplier on the low end at $40 to $50 and on the high end, $70 to $75, and then make it mine, brand it, put it up on Amazon. So starting not necessarily with the end in mind, but with my goal for my product of profits. And now I had to dig into the research. And that's why we bring up Helium 10, that AMZproductspotter.com. That's not our tool. We're using their tool. We have to pay for it as well. Otherwise, we'd gift it to you. But that is where you can go in. And we'll get into this tomorrow with demos, or if you already have the tool, go ahead and play around. But you can do the research with the profits you want to make and the price points that you're looking at. So that's really where I started. And I ended up finding a few different products in that price range. And I did buy most of it out of China, but I also wanted to figure out how to buy it in the US. And Once you find the product that you think is good, then you go through this validation process, and then you end up finding a supplier. And that's really the 3 steps to finding a product to sell. So step 1 is think about the price point you want it to sell on. It is completely fine if you're like, hey, I want to sell something in the $20 range. What I'm going to say though, is be very careful when you get into the lower price ranges, like anything under $10. And Jamie can touch on this too, but anything under $10, in my opinion, is a little tricky because you're going to have to sell a lot of units. Your margins get very squeezed and you don't have a lot of room for any advertising costs. So that's just kind of the way that I approach to do my products, to think. And I still look at it this way. And we're going to get into the exact methods of margins that I built my business on, that Jamie taught me, but this is kind of where I started. And then Jamie, there's one more slide, right? Or no?
Yep.
So once I decided, okay, I found a few products. When I say a few, I think I made a list of maybe 7 to 10 products that kind of fell in that category. I started reading the reviews. Oh, and let me point out, these are products that already exist. So I was not reinventing the wheel. I was finding products that were already proven to sell on Amazon, specifically Amazon, because you know that the keywords are there and you want to capture the market share of what is being sold. So the product that I ended up launching with was like an outdoor sports, like think sporting good product. And I dug into the competitor reviews, and the competitors were big. I mean, they were household names. These were very big names. And I thought, okay, there's some really good complaints in the reviews, like the 3-star down to the 1-star reviews. And I kind of just made notes of things that kept occurring, like this lever doesn't move, or it's not even, or, somebody said it should rotate. And I just made lists of that. And then I was looking at the color. I thought, well, if I'm going to price this to win and to be a higher price point eventually than some of the competitors, I need this to stand out. So I made it look a little bit more modern. I made it one in a stainless steel, and then I changed one of them to another color. And the best part is, I got a mentor. So I joined AMZ Insiders. I had the community, the coaches to bounce my ideas off of and learn the proper way to launch. And through my journey, a lot of people are like, I can't believe you launched your first product and it was close to $200. And what always goes through my head, even since I was little, was something my dad always said to me. It's like, keep them delighted with everything but the price. And I'm telling you that to tell you that you have to have a really good product. It's not necessarily about the price. It's that your product is innovative. You have made a lot of upgrades, I would say, or changes that you're proud of. Like, you are proud of your product. It is something that you want to tell everybody, like, hey, this is my business. This is what I'm selling, because you put so much work into it that you're proud of it. And I think that's something Jamie taught me too. I think we were talking about the product when I was going through all the design changes, and it was like, well, it's got to be something that you want to sit around the dinner table and like pull out and be like, hey, look what I made.
Yeah, I was like using that analogy of like, it's because some people struggle with like, oh, do I need to be passionate about this product or not? Right. So it's like one extreme. And so I think we fall in the same place, which is there's nothing wrong with having kind of passion products or things you are passionate about, of course. But at the end of the day, it's less about that than but you do want to, your point is, I would say you want to be proud of your product, right? So yeah, if someone came over and they're like, what's this, what do you sell on Amazon? You don't want to pull out something you'd be embarrassed to show, because, then it's not going to sell well, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I do want to say, my product was more of a problem solving, higher end luxury product than a passion. Selling the women's health stuff now is more of a passion. But my passion was in selling on Amazon. Like, I like the marketing part. I like the actual selling. And for those of you who are selling, you probably understand, like, it becomes empowering and almost addictive when you can sell on Amazon and you want to just improve your listing and improve your product, and you want those 5-star reviews.
Awesome. Yeah, really, really cool. I know we're not going to go in depth about your whole story today because we're focusing on the product side, but just we talk about the quality of your product. And I know for those that listen to like the podcast, or if you go check it out, you can hear kind of the full details and story. But I think you started, I don't know, like, I guess what month did you start and what month did you hit? How many months until you're at a run rate that was beyond like the $1 million mark for the year, you say?
Yeah. So I ended up launching in March, and with my marketing background, June to me was the Super Bowl because we're coming up on it, right? It's Father's Day. And I thought, you know what? Every single dad is going to have my product in their house for Father's Day. And I went probably a little too big on the Father's Day marketing and the keywords and everything. But I would say middle of June, I was at, I think it was like 200,000 trending. Yeah, I was like at $200,000 for the month, and I ran out of inventory because, it was like 5 days before Father's Day, I ended up running out of inventory, which it's like, yes, it's a good problem. Everything was flying off the shelves, but that's also just mistakes that happen with new sellers. And it was a lesson I learned. But yeah, so I guess March, April, May, June. So month 3, I was definitely knew I was trending to hit $1 million.
Yeah. And you said that, I mean, obviously 200,000 plus a month, that would be, if you could maintain that, that's a couple million. But, I think it fits the point that what you talked about earlier. One is you got your product, quote unquote, right. And it doesn't mean that's the same, what was the right product for you is different for me. But, as we'll talk about in the objectives, that was a big part of your success, of course, right? You got your product piece right. If not, you're not selling $200,000 4 months in, right?
Right. Yeah. And Elizabeth's asking about PPC. Yes, I was running PPC, but I wanted to win at 5 main keywords. So I ran exact campaigns and I upped my Google ad spend. And especially because I knew that I really wanted to win in June for Father's Day. And then along with that, I built just Facebook groups and Instagram groups and a handful of influencers. And yeah, I feel for all of you struggling with PPC. We dig into that a lot in our course. And definitely, that's like a hot topic that we talk about a lot. So I understand. Yep.
Cool. Well, so awesome, Joey. That was a great way. I think, again, even though you didn't go into the whole story, but it is pretty inspirational. I think, one example. We have several other examples of people through our programs that, we've worked with. Several people are on the call here. So we don't ever reveal kind of the products that someone's working on, but I know we were in Vegas. I saw some, where were we? We were in Austin, 2 weeks ago or last week for the SellerCon event. We met with one of our person who's on here. Some really, the husband and wife team have some really cool designs in their products that they're working on. And it's always inspiring to see like the different angles people are going, but you want to make sure behind whatever design you have some fundamentals behind it. And we're going to make sure through. And I thought, Joey did a great job with that. And now you're launching, you've already launched new products in a category. The question people asked, I know too, is like the products when I mentioned, we showed our sales earlier. So our Clearface is huge in the cell phone accessory space. We have a big warehouse down the road here. You don't need the warehouse, but we have it because we have so much product coming in from around the world, a couple thousand products. But those big sales I showed earlier were primarily cell phone cases, cell phone accessories. We sell like video game consoles. So again, mostly cases around that stuff. Other categories have sold in. We've done a lot in the fitness space. So sporting goods, I've done a lot in pet supplies as well too. Again, I'm going to show you guys a list of the top categories that the big buyers, the people that might buy your brand someday and give you a massive check. I'll tell you which brands they think are best. Doesn't mean you can sell in any category as long as it's a good product, you'll be fine. But you may want to know which of the categories are most desirable, right? You guys probably be interested in seeing some of that data, I imagine. The last thing I'll say with the stuff Joey shared, one of the cool things he put on here was read competitor reviews. And this is something we're going to dig in tomorrow that is really exciting because there are now some of these AI tools that can allow you to do this, right? So think about a listing, your top competitor or the number one seller. They're selling, several millions of dollars a year. How cool would it be to analyze the reviews and have a tool do the whole thing for you to understand where the opportunities are and what we could do. So you guys, I imagine you guys be up for if I give you guys a tool for free that you can dig into this stuff and analyze the competitors and really understand where you guys are at with that. So that will be coming as part of this stuff. And this stuff is like, some of the stuff is like new as of like last week, right? So this is like the latest and greatest stuff. But that being said, fundamentals are super, super important. I'm going to put this up here just because some people have asked about this and messaged about how do you guys get into your program. Do not apply for this. I want most of you guys not to apply for this right now. Really, again, the focus these next 3 days is really to help you guys develop a product. And most of you guys, a lot of you guys are our clients, but those that, some of you guys that are on here and we meet some of these people that are like, hey, they're motivated. They started selling or they haven't started selling yet, but they're like, hey, we're serious. Like when we met Joey a couple of years ago, like, hey, she was all about the business. There's several people on here. I see, I won't call you guys out and put you on the spot in here that are in the same boat. They're just like Joey and I that like, hey, we're serious and we want to move quickly. So if that's not a lot of, that's not everybody. Again, you have to have some capital to be able to buy your product. Maybe you're already selling. If that is you, right? I'm going to share this with you now here. I'm not going to give this to you guys again here, but you guys can scan the QR code. This is just to apply for the program. Pick a time to talk. But again, most of you guys aren't at that point yet. And this is for the people that like, don't book a call if you're not serious. If like you're broke and you can't afford to buy some product and everything else, just listen, take in the information and implement. All right. So that is that. So let's jump into the philosophy. I'm going to come back to, we've been talking about Helium-10. Some of you, I know a lot of you guys do use it, so you're familiar with it. There's probably like 2 tools that we're going to use for today's purposes. And really tomorrow, we're going to validate some of the product ideas. But as you go into Helium-10, once you go to that amzproductspotter.com, right, sign up, you get your discount, etc. Again, I love this tool. There's so much to it, right? They have like 30 tools in one. But, the big thing is to help you find a great product, right? And so to find the great product is this black box tool. So you want to find the black box tool. And then they have a couple different ways you can do it. They have kind of what's called like the simple way, which you just put in a couple criteria within like 20 seconds, like a category, how competitive you want, how much product improvement is needed and how competitive the category is or the product is, which ties simply is measured by how many reviews a product has amongst all of the competitors for that given keyword. And then boom, it'll spit out ideas. Okay. Again, a tool is a tool. It's not the end all be all. So it just helps you with this process. But it's not solely what we're going to do, right? You want to make sure you have some other strategy and some other, you need to know what criteria you want to do. And then we're going to layer in the AI stuff, which again is going to help do this so much quicker and analyze your market and understand the opportunity. So you put these together as like the tool, the Amazon specific tool, because this tool taps into what we call the Amazon API, which is the data that comes out of Amazon that they provide, they make available to, third parties for software companies, et cetera. So there's that. And all this ties back ultimately into, with your product, you want to leverage the Amazon algorithm, which is called the A9 algorithm, so that your product gets seen and it gets ranked, right? And so we want to make sure that we work in with that as well too. And yeah, you're going to have copies of all this. This is being recorded. So you're going to have access for being, registered for here. We're going to give you guys all of this to help you going forward. And again, make sure I encourage you guys to participate in the Facebook group just so we can create some energy there, help each other out, say hello in the Facebook group. And it's a free benefit for you guys. We run these challenges sometimes at, $300 a pop or more, or a 3-day event. Usually we charge, $500 to $1,000 minimum. Right. So, but again, we want to help as many of you guys out here as possible. And again, we've got a lot of our AMZ Insiders community that we're lockstep with those guys to get them where they're looking to go. So we're going to come back to this in a moment. Let's talk about the criteria to it as well on here. Okay. So here is kind of the fundamental. This is where I like to start with everything in terms of products. We've already talked about amzproductspotter.com. It's in the chat. You guys are good there. What I like to do is, before we dig super deep into tools like Helium 10 and look at all the data, or start jumping into the AI tools, which are fun and cool and fast, is, take a big picture approach, right? So literally just brainstorm. And that can be, it's a little old school, right? It's kind of like writing out a list of your hobbies, your problems, or not your problems, but problems you see kind of in your life that you've seen out there, or potential things that you think are a pain in the butt. And if there's a solution for, we mentioned passions as well too. You can have that as well too. I love trends with kids or elsewhere. This has come up several times. We've launched a product that we bought over $1 million of inventory when early in my Amazon days, all based on my kid up in our neighborhood, our little tennis courts in our neighborhood, seeing this toy and asking if he could borrow it. It was one of the little 2-wheel balancing scooters. And before they were popular, before they came out, and then it hit really big, right? So we were early on that trend based on literally my son coming home and saying he had used this tool, and then we researched it, right? We did all the research. We did a lot of research, and then before we pulled the trigger. And the other great way is, friends who have ideas. So one of the beautiful things about Amazon is you can do this. Of course, a lot of you guys have side hustles. A lot of you guys have full-time jobs. People like Joey and I, we just do this 100%, right? So we're here, we're at Amazon events, we're out helping the community. It's all we do. And is that you can partner with other people too. So you may have someone that maybe they have some capital. So to Joey's point earlier about, what's a good product for her to sell may be different than for me or someone else. I mean, one of those variables is just capital, right? So some people have, they have $5,000 to get started. That's kind of the low end, right? $10,000 in terms of your inventory, because again, you have to invest capital to get your inventory. It resells, you sell that 10,000, you sell it for 30,000, right? There's some fees that come out of it, but to do that, you have to have some capital, and there's different ways to do that. Initially, usually you want to hustle. You want to put some of your own in there, but a good way is to partner with other people. And I'm a big fan of partners. One of the reasons Joey and I partner together is, you have kind of an accountability partner, you have different strengths. So, but again, as far as this product, again, sometimes you have people that want to put in some money, and now you've put in the time to learn some expertise as a seller. And a lot of you guys are sellers already. And so if you guys are interested in that, again, we have people that are funding partners, everything else. We can help on that approach too. The next one is Amazon itself. So I love using these platforms and using the data that Amazon provides and turning it back to, they provide it for the consumer, right? So the reason, if you go to Amazon.com, and we'll go over there in a minute and play around, you'll see a lot of, there's a lot of information they give you, right? In terms of the top selling products within a given category. They'll tell you exactly what the number 1 selling product, number 2, number 3, right? There's trending products, things that people buy. If people that like this product also like this product. They give you all of this data. And the reason they're giving this data is for the shopper, right? It's for the consumer. And I was like, say, Amazon is the world's largest search engine for those looking to buy physical products, right? You go into a search bar, you enter in a search term typically. And so they've got to give you all of this data. You start typing, right? Joey and I talk about this time. You start typing, and all of a sudden, this is on here, the auto suggest method, and things start populating, right? They start giving you what the keywords are right away. Why are they doing that? Again, they're doing that for the shopper, but as a seller, right, you can use that data for yourself. So there's tons of information that Amazon's basically giving you that a lot of people overlook. So let's play around with that in a moment. And then within your Amazon seller account too, there's also tools that Amazon gives you to help you as well too. So once you're in what's called the brand registry, which you're familiar with, that you're in that, you start the process to trademark your product. Amazon will get you in the brand registry, but they have new features they're launching all the time, like something called brand analytics is an awesome tool. So they'll give you tons of insights on your competitors and otherwise. So that's the approach, kind of, think big, right? Just kind of relax your mind. I like to sit in front of the watching TV or something, sit in front of on your phone, or a laptop gives you a little more screen, or an iPad, and play around on just Amazon.com, right? Before we even start going into the Helium 10 tools. The last one on here, which has been a game changer the last few years, and it took us a while to discover this, is I have community. So, Joey and I, we do a lot in the digital world now. So we do a lot, on Instagram, a lot of you guys see us there. We've got this massive Facebook group. We are on pretty much all the social platforms. We've got, a top podcast that Joey's leading. So we do a lot with there. And what happens is you build community. Well, with your products, you do the same thing. There's communities all over the place with people, not specific to a product itself, but a community of people that have a common interest, that are interested in a certain type of product. So the communities are super valuable. So you can leverage things like Facebook groups, right? Whether you created it yourself or you kind of get permission within a Facebook group, as one example, to get a sense of what people are interested in, what people are buying. And we're not going to cover it necessarily today, but maybe Joey, if you'd say a few words on it, because in the last few months, we've got some really cool things. I know Joey is, which we complement each other well because we have different approaches and kind of resources, but there's some really cool things beyond Amazon as well too, that we're going to show you. Probably, I think we're going to show tomorrow a little bit too, but Joey, do you want to just give a little foreshadowing of some of the other ways people can find great products to sell?
Yeah, I guess one of my favorite things in just conversation with friends or anybody is when you are shopping, think of it as product research. So it's like, stop shopping and start selling. And whatever website you're on, obviously we just talked about Amazon, right? With the auto suggest. But if you're on Etsy, like I've actually found products, and I still sell products in my store that I found on Etsy. And tomorrow I'll show you some cool tricks on Pinterest to also look. But anywhere you are, even if you're in even just like stores or watching, like I'll watch my 5-year-old shop, and it's crazy to me what he is drawn to. And then I'll look at what he wants and I'll go and bring it into Helium 10 and look to validate it. So it's really a mind shift of switching to, hey, is that something good to sell? I mean, yeah, if you want to buy it, go ahead and buy it. But I like to really think about, should I sell this? Like, what is this going to bring into me?
Yeah, love it. And, hopefully you guys get excited just thinking about like the idea of what Joey's describing of finding new ways to discover products. Because again, when you get that product, when you're excited about it and there's an opportunity for it, then it's like, of course it's a real business, so it requires effort. But like, for example, our ability to help someone when they get that part right is like a slam dunk, right? So because we can help you with we can guide and coach you guys and basically show you the way in terms of the product launch, in terms of getting reviews, inventory management, because we've been there, right? So like when Joey came through and Joey did a really good job through this first part, right? And found something that was an opportunity. Again, it's not something, it's like there's riches and niches. So it's not a common product that's like everybody has, but within that niche, right? There's a community of people, then it is really powerful. So from there, like the ability to help her, to have the discussions around inventory management and product launch and everything else is like, it's almost like a slam dunk, right? So that's how powerful this stuff is. And so if you can get a slight little edge on new ideas, and again, it doesn't have to be something, matter of fact, I prefer it not to be something that's like super obvious or super common, but something a little bit like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. And that's kind of, where you want to get to. And so some of these tools will definitely help you get there. So cool. And I see all the comments coming in there as well too. Let's go through a little before I jump over to Helium 10 a little bit. Let me go through kind of the try and true criteria that I want to make sure you guys have. So as much as it's cool to find like super cool new trendy ways to find things, and our AI tools we're going to show you, you want to be rooted in fundamentals with your business. The first thing is that, as you get ideas, as the extent that you are researching, right? You're researching for products. You want to always be thinking in terms of keyword searches. All right. So, or search terms, right? So search terms is what the customer, because on Amazon, 95% of the time they're typing in something, right? They're not typing in your brand name, right? They're typing in a description of what they're looking for, right? And so with that in mind, what you really want to do is we want to find keyword opportunities, right? This keyword has a lot of demand, a lot of people are searching for it, or there's a set of keywords that a lot of people are looking for, and there's not a ton of supply, or there's not a lot of products being fulfilled for that, or there's not a product that does X, Y, and Z, or a product that looks like this, or a product that solves the solution that the problem that you identified by looking at all the reviews and having that summarized by like an AI tool. All right. So that's the first thing. Keep in mind the importance of keywords around it. In terms of average sales per month, I know Joey talked about, her profitability, which we're going to talk about as well too, but you don't want anything that's too small, because at the end of the day, Amazon, we said, is the world's largest search engine for buying products. It's bigger than the next 10 biggest e-commerce platforms combined. Right? Think about it. It's bigger than the next 10 combined. Put them all together, Amazon's still bigger, right? Crazy. So with that in mind, we don't need to have the perfect, right? We don't have to reinvent a product. We don't need to come up with something that's never existed, that people don't know, they don't even know to search for it, right? No, we want stuff that people are already looking for. And, I like this, picturing this raging river of money coming down the stream, and you're there and you just want to put your little net out and catch all that money that's running down there, right? And you want to do it in a valuable way with a good quality product. All right. So with that in mind, you want to have average sales, I say a minimum of $15,000 a month. That's still pretty low, because at $20,000 a month, that's $240,000 a year, which is good, right? That's a good start. You're going to build, other products with it. But so, generally, I'd say a minimum of 15,000. If you're looking at the average person is doing like $5,000 a month in sales, I'm not too excited by that, because that means there's really not a lot. There's not a lot of meat on the bone, right, for you to go after in terms of market share, right? So keep in mind there. Obviously, as you go up, as we look at things like massage guns, maybe we'll pull that up as an example. There's massage guns that do $2-3 million a month on one product. There's the mediums, several hundred thousand, 500,000. That's kind of the other extreme, right? Because then it's going to be more expensive to compete in that category, because there's so much money there, right? Most people don't want that, right? It's like too hot, too cold. You want something in the middle, right? Where you can find the, kind of the sweet spot where you can kind of afford to invest in it, right? Or you can afford to take, put that capital up and get the results that you want. So the margins around this stuff, and this is where, again, Joey like knocked it out of the park, I think is, the margins, you can think of your margin percentage. So, if your product costs $10 and Amazon takes $3, now you're down to $7. And then it costs you to get the product manufacturer. Let's say it costs you $1. So now you're down to $6, right? So whatever you're left over, that's the margin percentage. So let's say you're left over with $5. So 5 divided by 10 would be 50%, right? But the margin dollars is $5. It's only $5. And the reality is, on a $10 product, your margins are going to be tighter. But at a minimum, we want margins of 35% or more, because we're typically going to spend 10% of our total sales, our tacos, we call that 10% on advertising, to keep it like 10% or less, but that gets you down to about a 25% margin. Because for your business, whether a lot of you guys are currently selling, you want to be targeting at least a 20% margin. A 20% margin gives you enough room for some error if prices go up, or you have to spend a little more on marketing, that you still have enough profit margin there. And it's also really valuable in terms of the value of your asset for people that would buy your brand. What's the value of your brand? What kind of multiple, how much more would people pay? They're going to be looking for the higher that percentage, of course, the more attractive is. And as you get below 20%, people start worrying like, is that business risky of going down to, of not making a profit? And again, the average product price, I like to say $25. Joey, what was the average price of your product that you sold it for?
Oh, I mean, I launched it just under $200.
Yeah. So so Joey was, I'll say the extreme, but the other end of that, which is cool, right? So that's kind of like the power of thinking big, right? So, she had kind of high expectations. Anything else you want to add to that
Well,
point, Joey?
the products that I sell now, it's like some of them are $60, but I do want to launch a product that's around $400. So when you're building out your store, it's a range, right? It's not like my whole store. My first product I launched was $200, but then my like fifth product I launched was like $80.
Awesome. There you go. So it's a variety, but again, I know some people, I used to do a lot on Clubhouse app. So especially during COVID, and there's a really cool guy out of Tampa, and a veteran seller, and he sells products at like $8. All right. But the methodology he uses is I would not recommend, right? Like he basically tests things like wholesale, and he'll sell things, for the small and light, and he'll test it, and then he gets a winner, and then he'll try to go there. It's a kind of a volume game, but it's so much easier to do what Joey did and to be able to help, basically to have that higher price point. And again, we're not going to go deep into it today, but I think Joey shares with our community a lot, and shares, that she's a fan of luxury products. And there's a lot to be said for that you don't want to race to the bottom. You don't want to be racing for a commodity and just be like the lowest price product. And it's kind of the race to the bottom. So I think that's, a good takeaway. That it's why I think Joey brought that to the table, because we always talk about like kind of in between, but Joey like stretches the thinking. So encourage you guys to all think big. And I see some of the private message comments.
I can answer that. Yeah, no problem. So Rufino was asking about the price. So there is a pricing strategy, but yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. You look at the first page, what is selling, and then when you come out of the gate at your launch, your price is lower because you need to get sales and reviews. And so I had a full pricing strategy to go from the $200 up to $400 in my like 7 months, was kind of how I looked at it. So there's full pricing strategy. And Muhammad was asking, did I get it overseas? I did. Yeah. So I bought, most of the product was overseas, but when I ran out of inventory, I learned a hard lesson that you also need to be able to get it in the US. So when I bought stuff from China, I tried also to buy out of Mexico because it's closer. The prices were a little lower. And then when I had to source and get it put together in the US, it went higher, which is also why I started pushing the price of my product higher and higher, selling it on Amazon for more. But I had a lot of sales, and my sales were steady. And then you have the opportunity to be a little more aggressive on pricing. Steve, return rates. Yeah, you got to watch your returns, because that goes against your Amazon account health. So I think my return rate was below 3%. And I know there's a threshold where Amazon, they do not like returns. So you got to be pretty careful. My FBA fees, they were pretty high. $45.
Joey, just to make sure, I want to make sure. Well, let's do all the questions at the end.
Okay,
through, just because some people may have to leave at the hour mark.
Sure. So I love answering questions. So
I know, and you're good at it. We'll do this. We will get you guys through but keep asking your questions throughout. And because we're only got like less than 10 minutes, we've got a good amount to hit, but we will stay on and answer your guys' questions in a few minutes here too. So
I'm going
yep, all good. Perfect. But that way, if some of you guys have to jump off, no worries. I want to make sure we get you guys a little more of the insight too. So the last things around, let's say just in terms of the criteria is, if you want to think big, kind of the stuff Joey was talking about there. Number 4 is brand focus. We do entire trainings, strategy sessions around this, which is that this was something we did right at the beginning. We've been selling for over 10 years. Now is we've always been brand focused because your brand is what's valuable. So if you're going to sell your brand someday, like we've helped a lot of people do, then what people are buying or acquiring is your brand. And so you want to make sure that there's a theme to it, right? So if whatever category or whatever your brand is, you don't want to mix different categories into that brand, right? So you don't want to sell pet supplies and your barbecue tools set as well too. So, right. So you want to make sure you're understand your brand is really important, and Amazon makes it pretty clean. As long as you get the trademark for it, they give you all these features, the brand registry. Again, a lot of you guys know this, all those features that they unlock. I won't go through all of them now, interest time, but it's they basically help you become a lot more successful, make your product stand out as well too. The number 5 one, the related products and the subscribe and save. So you want to understand whenever we think of a product, we always want to understand what are other possibilities. So this might be your anchor product for it, but what other products are going to go around it? Because it's like if you're planting like some grass, right? The more you can plant like a yard of grass and they all kind of grow in, they all support each other. Same thing with your products, right? So your one product, your anchor product, often called your hero product, then you definitely want other products. And sometimes you can combine them together, which is called the bundle. So you can either sell those as like a unique thing. You just put these 2 things together, or they can, you sell them both separately. The subscribe and save, I always call this the holy grail, these are typically consumables, right? Things people have to buy and they use them and they need to come back to you and buy again. So consumables, anything like beauty related, often is a consumable, like makeup, etc. The things like any kind of supplements, whether it's for human supplements, pet supplements, certain supplies like office supplies, like paper or ink cartridges, pens, where people run out of them, right? So our cell phone cases were somewhat of a consumable, a little tricky, only because what helped us is every time there's a new iPhone or a new Galaxy phone, then there's a new launch, right? So a little bit different. We had to design a new product. So there's a built-in new launch of that category. And then the last couple of things I'll say is what we talked about at the beginning of this, and Joey talked about even in terms of making sure you get your product, is one, you want to make sure the product quality is really good, right? So we think of ourselves as a product design, put on our hat that, hey, we're going to design a really good product. And with these tools and resources, we've got access to the best people in the space. You can really come up with something unique or modify your product. And with AI, we'll talk tomorrow. I'll show you how you can come up with like really cool designs for your product. But it's really important that you need to be able to source it. And on day 3, we're going to talk some sourcing. So we'll show you how to actually source the product. And then the last thing, the analyzing foreign markets, this is kind of almost a nice to have now, is we used to teach people more about how to launch in different markets. Now it's more about the just understanding the potential of your product in another market. Again, when Joey talks about her product, sometimes I know her product was in demand globally. People were reaching out from different countries. And so even though maybe she didn't launch in those countries, or down the road she didn't have to, she could, when they go to sell your brand to someone else, you can say, especially if it's like an aggregator, they have all this capital, they know they can invest. And so that makes your brand worth more if there's demand for it in other countries. So, all right. So there's your quick there. I'm going to give you guys a really quick, let's jump over. I think Joe and I can both jump over to, let me stop the share for a quick second here. And we'll pull up, let's just pull up Amazon real quick. So we'll give you guys a quick demo using Helium 10, and then we'll do Q&A. We'll do a little bit of wrap up and Q&A for you guys as well too. So let me see if I can pull up Amazon. Okay. And again, keep asking the questions. So I didn't mean to interrupt Joey there, but we'll come right back to it here in just a couple minutes here. So yeah, so for everyone, here's Amazon. So if I start typing FE, I'm just typing whatever, right? So it's like you start seeing all these, this is that, literally you can start typing letters and you'll start seeing things come up. You might, using some of these tools, sometimes it's fun to kind of go down the rabbit hole of like, oh, what the heck are, what the heck's, Feastables, what is that? And let me start analyzing these products, right? Or anything you see. I mean, Joey said it's fun to go out and kind of think of yourself, not about shopping, but as, put on, how you're going to sell something instead. And you can plug it into Amazon and then see it within Amazon. It's right here. See how, you have things like best sellers, right? So they're literally telling you the top selling products, right? Now, again, you want to analyze this stuff and see where it goes, new releases, right? So just play around with like lots of data that they're giving you on the site. Take advantage. You go into each category. Amazon's really designed to be, if you're going to do this stuff, it's really designed, one, to enter a search term, but two is kind of go within a category, right? So you can see all these categories, and they change the categories probably. So sports and outdoors, right? We go into there, new releases in sports and outdoors, pickleball. Joey is a hardcore into pickleball. She can never get enough of it. No,
but I really support all the people who are selling products and doing well, because we know a few.
It's growing. I mean, pickleball is like in Georgia, it's like one of the hottest.
It's everywhere.
It's insane. But yes, but I've had some people from the Northeast. I had someone in La Crosse, she contacted me. Her son's going to drop out. No, it's not going to drop out of Georgia Tech, but they're in New York. She's like, pickleball is not as big, but he's thinking of trying to go pro in pickleball. And he's like a Georgia Tech, a top student at Georgia Tech. I'm like, yeah. So it is, but you can see, not surprising, it's there. What else? The water bottles, that is stuff, Joey, you, with all your fitness.
Strength. Well, I like those water bottles. And something on the water bottles. Actually, Jamie, go to the search bar and put in water bottle. Okay, see this? This is like, okay, see how it says water bottle with straw, water bottle holder with strap, water bottle with time marker. These are all really good suggestions on how to innovate the water bottle. That is just like a basic water bottle, but people are searching for water bottles with time markers. So we can dig in a lot more on water bottles tomorrow with helium-10, or if you have time tonight, just go ahead and do the research on the water bottles, because I think it's a really interesting and a good example of products that will just keep evolving.
Love it. So when you're searching too, keep in mind, like it'll put you into a category. So we're in the sports and outdoor category right now. So we're kind of in there, and it's sometimes if you want to go back out to church, but if I'm going to do, just pick one, because I mentioned it earlier. I was almost going to do the water bottle there, but Joey, so we may dig into it more. So let's do just for like, again, this isn't the idea like, hey, you should sell this product, but just to see the purpose of the tool, like with helium-10. So again, massage, you can see, of course, 38,000 reviews, 18,000 reviews. So massive numbers of sales there. And then let's go with, we use, like for the Chrome extensions, I've used a few different ones in the past, but we use helium-10 in terms of the software and the tool. So it's going to take a moment because we're on Zoom here, but what's super cool is when once you have the amzproductsbuyer.com, you go to any page and you can just go in here and see. And so here's the revenue per month of these products, right? 2.3 million per month, 1.1 million, 700. Like, look at everyone on here. There's 2 points I'm going to make. Look, for the most part, everyone on here is high into the six figures, like 500,000 or above, right? Like everybody is, except you'll see this guy says 3,000. This guy is 10,000. This one's only 13,000 a month. And I'll tell you why that is as well too. You can also sell the country that they're selling from. So Chinese sellers are dominating this category. There are some USA ones. It's important to know a little bit because, you don't necessarily want to go head to head with Chinese sellers all the time, because sometimes, again, this could happen to anyone, but by and large, sometimes they use what call the black hat techniques. So typically you're going to see the biggest selling products you'll see with that. So that's just a side note there, but you can see the number of units sold in the last 30 days. Okay. The price, you get the brand here, you get the bestseller rank. So the lower the number, the better. So you see that's crazy big. And they've got a link if you want to find suppliers, right? You can go right to suppliers and find that, or you can go to Alibaba yourself around it. Keywords, if we click this, it will basically do some of the keyword research related besides just massage gun as well too. So it gives you a lot of insight on here. The search volume for the key, you see is a lot, right? So it's, and you can see the trend on it. This is important to understand the trends to see whether a product is a seasonal item or not. So this tells you like, hey, as you get near Christmas, you can see perfectly as a gift, the massage gun maxes out on December 17th, right? Just enough time for it to be delivered to as a gift. But then, throughout the fall, it's good. But the rest of the year, this thing is selling well all the time, but it really picks up during Q4. And this is why right now is such a great time to prepare for everything, because the next 3 months to get ready for this massive uprising. This is very common for a lot of products, especially any product that can be given as a gift, right? But certain products you want to understand, is it, if it's a pool float, is it, what does it look like? Does it only sell during the late spring and summer and then it's dead? Obviously, if it's a Halloween costume, it's going to sell, or Christmas decorations. So you really want to understand the seasonality of your product. And you can see on other platforms too, they'll actually show it to you. Or the cool thing about here too is within the tool, you can also check other countries just as well about seeing what all the other marketplaces about how it is performing. Information around the category and more. And so again, you can dig into any term you're looking for and find how well it's selling, what the reviews look like. Of course, you can see the brand. So it just makes it so simple. You can see the average revenue, right? So the average revenue is 245,000. And for the ones that are being shown here on page 1, the total revenue is $11 million for the month for what it's showing you there. So Joey, anything else you'd add just in terms of like when you're using the Chrome extensions? Again, this is in Google Chrome. You just download it. It just overlays onto Amazon.com.
Yeah, I highly recommend getting it so that when you are shopping, it will just pull up all this information. And it's not even going into Helium 10. It's really just the extension like Jamie's showing you. So yeah, I think it's a very cool tool. And I know we'll dig into a lot of it tomorrow. But
yeah, we're going to do more tomorrow. Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just recommend just trying to get familiar with it and checking it out, and ignore it when it says add a seller account. You don't have to do that. I get that question a lot. You can use it without connecting any type of Amazon account.
Yeah. So that has the niche score here. I see some questions around that. And so this is more of the rating of, it says basically that 90% of the products have sales of revenue over 5,000 a month. And then there's also within the tool itself, it will, not right here, but also within the actual black box, you'll be able to get more insight, more granular data around some of the stuff. And again, we'll go through that tomorrow. You can set a bunch of criteria. And again, I said earlier, I told you about like, hey, the number of, the average sales, you want it to be at least $15,000. Typically you don't want the reviews to be super competitive, right? So you can set all of this, pick your category. So in here, again, we'll go through this more tomorrow, but definitely play around with it. If you're not already up and running on the amzproductspotter.com, make sure that you are. That's part of your homework for tonight. So, yeah, John says replace Jungle Scout. Yeah. So, essentially at the end of the day, tools are tools. I've used Jungle Scout in the past. Their Chrome extension is pretty good, but in terms of like the overall tool, in terms of managing your Amazon business for products, for keywords, for your financials, all these things, we definitely recommend this tool here. If there's one tool you're going to have, this is the one, right? So the amount of tools that you have is like insane, because you get all of this. We're just talking about the product research right now, the black box, but again, we're not going to go through blow by blow. These are the PPC platform. Cerebro is an amazing tool. They've now added Walmart separately. You got like, it's the reason why it's the leader in it. So yeah, the short answer is yes. It is the kind of the one tool that you want to make sure that you have, and the one tool that we recommend. Cool. And we'll jump into questions here in just a second. We'll read back to it. So we covered a quick little demo again for you there on the Helium 10 tool. But let's do something fun for you guys. I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's do this in the chat before we go to our Q&A and wrap up. And we'll cover all the stuff and stay on. Is which categories do you think are the most popular categories, the most attractive categories to, we call aggregators, or someone that's like private equity or investors that want to come buy Amazon brands? They don't want to start. They want to buy your brand. In the chat, put any guesses you have as something. It doesn't have to be the number one, just that you think would be a popular brand. Debbie says children. Amy says home goods. Sam says tech. Carol, wow, you guys are coming in fast and furious. Pet, home and kitchen. Shabazz says home and kitchen, beauty, electronics, kitchen. Let's see, a lot of kitchen, home goods. All right, cool. Good guesses. Kima says sports. You guys are pretty smart. Yeah, Janita says, yeah, we'll start the program soon. Well, Joey would be one of our coach. Joey, what's your response?
Yes. And Jamie and I will be your coaches, and we have other coaches. I think they're on here, Matt and Maurice, and we have Travis. So yes, you get all of us.
Yeah, all of us. And then we also bring in other leading players in the space for all the content. But well, you guys are really sharp. I love all these answers. Yeah, Jacqueline says, yep, I need a coach. Awesome. Yep. And I see a bunch of guys, I told you a bunch of guys did actually apply for us, which tells me we've got a bunch of serious people on here. Anand on here, one of our, Anand's a rock star. Him and his wife says home and garden, pets, baby. Yeah. See, Anand's like ChatGPT himself. He can just do it. So let's pull it up. And also, you guys, a lot of really good answers. You guys no one said like medical devices. So, which isn't popular. So this is a little bit, I got a giant screen. So on my big screen, I can see it, but this is from a real survey. This is real data. And so this is the answer that they said. The question was, which Amazon categories of brands are Amazon aggregators most interested in buying? So this was their response directly from the people with hundreds of millions of dollars. Number one answer, a bunch of you guys said this, home and garden. Ding, ding, ding. I said that one. Number two answer, this is like Family Feud. All right. Number two answer was pet supplies. All right. Number three was baby products, excluding apparel. So baby clothing was excluded from that. Number four was health and personal care. So that's massive, of course, beauty, personal care. Number five was outdoors. All right. So I would probably take those first five, these dark blue lines, and those would be the top five categories. Does that mean you can't sell millions and millions in toys and games and musical instruments, major appliances? Well, major appliances probably they're industrial and scientific. No, you can have an awesome product and they're a little bit under the radar. Maybe some of these categories like industrial and scientific. Like I had a family member, they own a bunch of pharmacies and they had access to get like some of this like medical equipment. And it was pretty technical, some of this stuff, but it sold for a lot of money. And so that would be kind of the medical equipment. It was off the beaten path, but it could do really, really well with it. So, but a lot of you guys nailed the big ones, but this is good to know. Again, you want to layer all these things in together and understand that if you want to kind of begin with the end in mind and have a strategy, understand that these are the biggest one. What's interesting is things like consumer electronics or like cell phone cases, like the space that we, grew really big and dominant in the market in, is a lot of the aggregators, it was a little scary to them because we know we do so much design with the product here that they don't want to necessarily understand how they're going to replicate that and how they're going to launch the new product every time. So that was interesting, right? Like it was a little bit scary for them because they want things that are a little bit more straightforward, a little bit easier to replicate. So it's that balance, right? Because we talk about building a moat, about building a moat around your product. So protection, how you can, fend off competition, how you can be unique and different. But there's a fine line. If it's something that is too complex and too out there for the next buyer to handle, then that's tougher. Now, that being said, there's always different buyers too. So there's the aggregators and buyers. Like in the cell phone case, well, there's some massive cell phone companies or cell phone accessory that would just strategically want to buy the brand, right, and gobble it up. So there's always that angle. So anyways, you guys, we got a smart group on here. We got a talented group. I really like the energy from you guys. Maybe tomorrow we'll bring some of you guys on camera too. We can do that or figure that out on the day to do that as well too. We're going to jump into Q&A in a moment, but I'd like to, my friend David actually sold this brand, Garden Republic, him and his wife they launched it in less than 2 years. They sold it for $7.1 million to one of the big aggregators that's located actually in Austin, Texas. And he did it all with the beginning in mind, using the strategy we talked about and including this last category, which was, you talked about community. So he generated 59,000 likes on their page. There's techniques and strategies how you can do this without spending a lot of money, but basically got a lot of input from a gardening community that they built. They built their own Facebook group for gardening, and they would let people would post photos of their plants. They had someone to do Q&A about tips for their, how to grow their plants. And they sold this bonsai tree kit, and it absolutely crushed it by leveraging the power of community. And then they'd ask the community, hey, what else would you think we should sell? And would you guys buy it? And they're like, oh yeah, we'd love to buy it. So then they also had this advantage there as well too. Actually, there's David and I at a mini chat event back in Austin a few years back. Here it is, asking price for 7.1 million, and they got it. And now David saw him and his wife are hanging around Europe all summer as they get ready to launch some new brands. All right. So just to recap again here, this is here. You guys are going to have all of this. This is the basic criteria we have. A couple of things, actually, I'll mention it before we do Q&A, is things to avoid too. Just typically things that are like create a lot of risk to your product, like things that can break easily, like glass, things that could hurt somebody. You want to be careful with, right? That's why like children toys, you got to be really careful with, right? Because of liability and liability insurance, you can navigate all of that, but just be aware of your product. Anything like marijuana related, people think, oh, it's legal in this state or that state. Well, no, federally it's not legal. So avoid that. And when it comes to Amazon as well too, things that are, you don't want to compete with things that are major brands. So Nike, Kleenex, or things that are licensed or just big, like Disney. So stay away from typically those categories where, again, they're multi-billion-dollar brands. That's not what you need to do to be successful. Most of the brands are kind of unknown on Amazon, and that's what you want to do. So in summary, again, understand where the opportunities are. And tomorrow we're going to show you some amazing ways to identify these things, whether using the AI tools, some of the Pinterest stuff that Joey's going to show. So, and we'll dive a little more into the Helium 10 tool, but understand at the end of the day, you have to provide value to the marketplace. If you can do that, by providing something that is unique, right? That's different and that is of good quality, then you're going to have a home run. All right. All right. So let's jump into Q&A. I don't know. That's the homework. We already covered the Helium 10. You guys, I think all of you guys are not on AMZ Product Spotter. Even if you use it for a month and cancel it. Like, again, it's not our software. We don't care, but take advantage of that and just challenge yourself to play around with it. And tomorrow we're going to talk about using that with AI. So with ChatGPT, with some of the other tools. So really helpful. Facebook group, get in there, participate, say hello. The more you guys just activate with us, we will invest time in there and help you guys out in there. Begin creating a list of product ideas. I don't think, Joey, the link for the worksheets, it's pretty simple worksheet, but it can help you just organize it. Here's the URL. I've got it on screen, but Joey, have we shared that anywhere else with these guys yet?
The selection worksheet here.
Yeah. If you want to put it in there, again, it's pretty simple. It's just a little Google sheet. I know it's going to be in your guys' membership area, but we give you guys some worksheets for you guys to do this.
So
one thing when, yep.
Yeah, you click on it and you have to make a copy. And this is a worksheet that I made and then our coach Matt kind of added to. So just go ahead and make it your own, but be sure to make a copy and save it.
Awesome. Yeah. One thing is I got to know Joey better. Like, hey, she came aboard, she's selling. We're like, she was on like every training we were doing every week. I just see this Joey name. And then when I got to know her more in terms of what she was doing, yes, the knowledge is important, but there's also, there's mindset, and there's also an element of discipline and taking action that are really important. And I saw in retrospect to Joey, like, Joey, you had like notebooks, you were taking notes on stuff, all the time, right? Just,
yeah.
What's that?
I still have those notebooks from every single training session, weekly training session.
Yeah. And Joey's not doing that. She wasn't doing it for my purposes or for us. She's doing it for her and her business. Right. Because, again, sometimes nowadays in the world of the web and so much information that we don't take time to actually, and there is something, writing stuff down, it's proven, mentally, it really helps you ingrain with it. So again, encourage you guys to take, some of the main points down that you get away, to make it your own. Of course, again, we're giving you guys all this stuff, but then just take some action, right? The point of this stuff, we're doing this 3-day challenge. Again, we usually charge, we've never haven't charged. Usually we like to charge because there's a phrase, people that pay attention. So you guys are the ones here. There's some people that, didn't make it, but they'll look at the replay as well too. But the key is it doesn't do it. Us giving you the information is fine, but it's really about helping you take action. There'll be, not everybody, but there'll be many of you that are good at taking action. And there are several of you guys that we're working with in our program that are great at taking action that will do that. So this helps you set the table. Again, we're not going to be here. We're going to do Q&A here all day long. We're not going to stay on here all night with you guys, but is to give you guys this, let you go about your day, set aside a little time and get on to the Helium 10 tool there, the amzproductspire.com, and start doing that, right? Get the Chrome extension downloaded so that for now on, whenever you're looking at Amazon, you can see all the data, whether you're buying products or whether you're selling the products, you can really understand the potential for it as well too. And then these product worksheets, take advantage of these as well too. Let's go to some Q&A here in a moment. Again, I know a few people have messaged us about this for that. They saw the approach. We call it the rocket ship approach. Again, Joey, myself, we've got Matt on here as an expert coach. We've got a really strong team of successful everyone that is coaching everything. Obviously, we're all sellers ourselves. If you follow us on social media, again, I kind of view in the Amazon community, there's like these quote unquote gurus that you never really meet in person. There's a lot of them I've never met in person. And then there's like the real community of people that are like at events that frankly, we're friends. We're rooting for each other. Even if we have the same business, we literally we give each other tips and help each other out. And so that's what we're doing with the AMZ Insiders community. That's what this product challenge, again, it's completely free for you guys to do that. But I know we've had a lot of people come through that we've helped that have been really successful. We've helped people, multiple 7-figure exits. We've had a few people do 8 figures, which is over 10 million exits. We've had people exit, had one guy, one of the first few years back was, he was in for like less than 12. He did like $600,000 exit cash in his bank, which was, a big deal, right? So life changing for it as well too. So, but anyways, like I said, don't sign up for this unless you fall into the category like, hey, I'm like some of these people on here. I'm looking to rock and roll and I want to talk to you guys about this. And it said, Joey and I would like to do business and help people we like and people we trust. That's the thing we apply to everything. So again, we only have a very small team to jump on calls. So you can fill out information if you're looking like, hey, I want to talk to you guys about what I'm working on and seeing if you guys are a good fit to help us out But again, only do that if you're serious. So, all right, I'm going to take that away. If you guys are interested in that, you can take a picture of it or remember it, but I'm going to remove that. All right. That being said, Joey, so, well, cool. First of all, in the chat, hopefully you guys picked up something. Tammy says, thank you. I'm always looking for tips. Appreciate your time. Joey, final thoughts on anything else too that you want to share on the topic or today, and then we'll do Q&A after that.
Yeah, I'm excited to dig in for Helium-10. So if you guys have time today, start just writing your list of product ideas. And there's no bad ideas. Just get it all out of your head. And we'll teach you tomorrow how to dig into Helium-10 and other sites to find and validate.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Joey, do you want to, yeah, Anand says I badly need that 8-figure exit. Yeah, well,
you're on your way. You're like one of our best students.
Yep. Sam is here. Sam from our cruise is on here. All right, Joey, say that. Thanks, Jamie and Joey. Yes. And we both spoke on, Joey and I spoke on this seller cruise last year. There's a lot of great people on there we got to meet. So yeah, Sam is awesome. Carol says my brand is already home good, so this is encouraging. But I spend mostly on health and beauty.
Oh, thanks, Sam.
Is there any questions you want to pull out to start with, Joey?
Oh, thanks, Zena. Zena, you had asked about, I think earlier in this, about selling on Kindle. And it's very different if you're looking to do a book versus private label. So yeah, I encourage people to do it, but it's like my book that I sell kind of complements my private label store. So that's the way that I like to look at it, is like I have my book and then I have my women's health products too that can kind of go with the store, and then you get to market it all together. So yeah, thank you, everybody. Yeah, that's what you were thinking. Awesome. Yeah, so it is good to really have the private label store as well. So cool. Glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, Nick says, are there seller events coming up? What about we're speaking?
Oh, yeah, we're speaking at Ecom Summit, and I don't have the link right now, but we'll share that. We'll share the link with you guys tomorrow. We're both speaking at Ecom Summit the first week of August. So I'll pull those details for tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's our next stage.
Awesome. Event. Yeah, I think Joey, you're talking about, I think related to Google Ads, right? Some of the really cool traffic strategies.
Yeah, so I'll be talking about outside traffic and Google Ads and kind of marketing tactics that work for me, and they help lower your PPC costs on Amazon. So yeah, fun topics.
Yeah, and this is the Ecom Summit available for us to go to. Yes, we'll get you guys a link for that.
I'll pull the link. Hold on, so we don't forget.
We will.
You talk, Jamie, and I'll pull the link.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm going to be talking about AI stuff that I'm going to share you guys some of the stuff tomorrow. And so you guys are going to see it before anybody. And I think a couple of tools are going to blow you away. So it's pretty cool. It's, people talk about AI and this, that, and the other, but it's like, our approach with Joey and I is anything we want it to be tangible and actually applicable to the business, not like theoretical or like trying to search for some way to help it, but actually real stuff that can help us work quicker and faster with our business. Says I've been stuck in finding a product months now. Any advice? Yeah, I mean, the point, of course, being here is what it's about. The 3 days will between today, tomorrow, as we go through some of the AI tools and some of the product selection and the sourcing should help you guys out a lot there too. Yeah. So yeah, Sam says looking forward to covering ChatGPT and AI tools. Yeah, when we were at I was speaking wherever we were, out of Dominican Republic or wherever we had left on the cruise ship to the next destination, I presented on AI then, and that was in February. So it's so much has changed since then. And so again, tomorrow I'll share with you guys, make sure you guys mark the link because it's the same link for tomorrow. And it's really important. Each of the 3 days, it'll be the same time, and it'll be a little bit different, third day will be a little more Q&A driven. Probably we'll do more Q&A. Tomorrow's going to be, we're going to show you some of the AI tools, Joey's going to show some cool stuff on the some of the other neat ways to find trends out there and opportunities as well too.
Yes. Very excited for tomorrow. And this will be, you will get an email with your login. It's either later tonight or tomorrow, depending like where you are on the email list, but we'll be sending out the login. So you'll have this recording and the rest of the 2 days.
Yep. Then Blake asked a good question. Says, if you're a new Amazon seller, is it important to establish a brand name and dedicated store or stores? Does establishing a name for the product, is it a key deciding factor in successful sales? What do you think, Joey?
Yes, to really build your brand and something that is something you want to sell. And for Amazon to really take you serious, yes, you want to build a brand. And really it's about getting your one product up and getting the trademark registration so that you can get into the brand registry and you get a lot more information and data and reports from Amazon. And you just get a little bit ahead of your competition when you're brand registered.
What I would add to that too is, and the good thing about Amazon is that all you have to do is think about getting your product good, right? You don't have to think about your store or all your brands and creating the branding like in the old days. It's really about get that product selling well and do it the right way. Do what we said earlier, make sure the product is good and, use some of the launch strategies that we help people with and just do that right. And the brand will take care of itself as long as, to Joey's point, you have that brand mindset talked about. So we would talk about this, our products. I remember I was in a meeting over in China and because we have offices over in Shenzhen too. And we're having this debate. Should we, do you want to spend money on branding? It was like, and my partner was like, screw that. The way our brand becomes successful is we just sell a ridiculous amount of this product. And now people know our brand in the industry because we sold so much of it. But to Joey's point, yeah, I mean, the brand is the value of it, but don't worry about the store and just get the product right. And then, have that, you're going to get into the brand registry, get it trademarked, and you'll do great. So I love some of the comments. It says, thanks for the straight. Artem says, thanks for the straightforward info without selling me $58,000 of info for $366. Yeah. Like I said, there's nothing to buy here. You can't buy anything from us or for these 3 days as well too. Do I need to trademark my name first before launching my brand? I hear it's an expensive and complicated process. Joy, what do you think?
So you can launch on Amazon under generic and not have the trademark. So that is an option. And when you're saying it's expensive and a long process, we work with trademark specific attorneys for Amazon. And I see another question with Tammy saying, how long does it take to get the trademark? You've been waiting since February. So it depends like what category, what you're trademarking, how long it takes. But the key to get into the brand registry program is the actual registration number. Now it's up to you if you want to apply for brand registry right away, and you should get that registration number pretty quickly. But that doesn't mean that you're fully trademarked. A full trademark does take up to like 9 months or a year. But I was in the brand registry program, within a month of selling. And then my actual trademark came through, like 2 months before I actually sold my brand. So it's different when we're talking about like trademarks and the brand registry. And the brand registry doesn't cost anything. It's just needing the trademark. And then Amazon gives you a whole bunch of free tools in there in the brand registry program. So it's not a cost that you pay for.
Yep. Yeah. Mojave, yeah, we do have contacts. We can kind of separately share that with you guys around that part of our AMZ Insiders community. We have a bunch of preferred partners and tools that we've vetted that we do. And yeah, my take is I don't really think it's a long process or complicated. It's pretty straightforward as far as something legal. And it's really valuable when you get that trademark. It's like, wow, I own this trademark to this brand. It immediately makes it more valuable. And Amazon makes it easier now. As long as you've started the process, they can get you into that brand registry quicker. And I think one of the bonuses we're going to give you guys for those that show up for the 3 days is we'll get you guys a consultation with people that set up company structures, entities, everything else, because that is the advantage. So I know there was another question from Nick. He said, I created an LLC and created my seller account under the LLC name. Is that my brand, or is branding another step? So I'll take that one. But yeah, so the name of your store or your LLC is, it can be your brand, but doesn't need to be. You can name your, if Joey and I were, we're selling, we have a brand together, we might call it, or an LLC together, maybe called J&J Enterprises, right? And then, so that might be the name of our LLC, but the brand is whatever you want it to be. So you can just, again, it could be J&J Enterprises if we thought that's what we wanted the brand to be, or you might have your brand idea in mind and you might name that. Some people have their LLC and then they have multiple brands that they're going to sell in. What I do recommend is, if you're looking to exit your brand someday, is that you ideally should have one brand in one account and then actually open a separate seller's account for another brand. Amazon, you can sell, 20 different brands in one account, but in terms of you exiting that brand and selling it to someone, you will get a lot more money for it if you've broken them out cleanly into different accounts, just because we've helped people exit, 7-8 figure exits. I've been kind of intimately involved in those deals. So I know that's kind of a best practice up front. Yep.
Yeah.
Zene says, I'm a little confused. Do I brand register aside from trademark, or is it the same process? So Zene, you basically begin your trademark. The trademark is with the government for the country you're in. So the US trademark, and then she put it in the comments there. Yeah. So you do that. And then separately, the Amazon process is the brand registry. When we first launched our cell phone cases, we never got our main brand trademarked for like 3 years because there wasn't really much in terms of the brand registry. But even though we didn't have the trademark, we still owned the rights because we were the first mover. We're the first people doing commerce with the name. But nowadays, Amazon really wants you to do that, and they reward you. So yeah. Nick says, okay, got it. Sweet. Can you have more than one Amazon seller's account within Amazon? Yes, you can. As long as you can have separate accounts. Amazon wants to just make sure that you're not selling the same brand in both accounts. So they don't want you to manipulate, like you're creating a listing in both accounts, so that you're doing anything to kind of manipulate the selling process of the brand. But yeah, very common for experienced sellers. I showed you earlier, David there. So these guys here, for each of their brands, they put in, this brand was in one Amazon seller account. They had another product that was in pet supplies, another account, and another one in another account. Same with us, our different brands and fitness and all of the cell phone accessories, all in completely different Amazon accounts. Yeah, so Sam says, that's good to know. I thought they were not allowing. Yeah, so good question. So they used to be against it because back in the old days when we were first selling, we were part of this. There was a lot of manipulation going on. You get 100 accounts all buying products. And so there's still some, again, maybe the Chinese fairly or unfairly get accused of it, Chinese sellers, of doing some of that manipulation of using multiple accounts. But Amazon, especially if you let Amazon know that, hey, I'm creating a different brand and this is the reason I'm doing it, they don't have any issue. It's very common now and it's a best practice. So yeah, but yeah, they used to give a hard time about it. You used to have to put it on a VPN to show you didn't have two accounts on the same VPN as well too. Modi asks a great question. So it says, on the massage gun example, how did the slower sellers rank so high? And I mentioned it but I forgot to answer that question. So that's the beauty of what Amazon does for new sellers, is if you think about that, those massage guns, some of those had 10,000 plus reviews. So how do you ever get to page one? Well, if you're Amazon, think about them. So let's say you have a new innovative massage gun, which is amazing, and you could sell it on Amazon. You could sell it on Walmart, Shopify. Well, Amazon wants to make sure that consumers get a chance to see your gun. Otherwise, they're just going to have all the outdated listed products on there because they all have 10,000 reviews. Or let's say you have a fire extinguisher that's innovative and new, but all the fire extinguishers, they all have 20,000 reviews. So what Amazon's going to do is what you guys were seeing there in that example is they're going to periodically move people they're going to move you to page 1 to see how customers react to your product, even if you don't have a lot of reviews, right? And they're going to do that because that's the only way they can get new and innovative products to grow and be part of Amazon. Otherwise, Amazon will just have, the old stale products with all of the lots of reviews. So, and then once Amazon identifies that your product is like, wow, the conversion rate's good, even though you only have 20 reviews, it's going to kind of spiral you up in the algorithm there. Vice versa, some of the older sellers with 10,000 reviews that they see, it's like it's being outpaced. So maybe the product's out of date, or it's just not as current. They call that the spiral of death. It will start spiraling down and it will drop like a rock. So great question. I see more and more. Joey, more stuff you want to jump in? Things you're seeing, or I know you're helping people in the chat as well there too.
Yeah, I think it's a lot on the like the trademark stuff for personal cases. And then Mohammed is asking if it's okay to buy a trademark from another company. I mean, somebody bought my trademark from my brand, and there wasn't any risk or anything with that, as long as, yeah, you're right, it's like the reassignment agreement and that it's registered to them. And then I also had some patents that I ended up selling as well. So yeah, as long as you have everything with the USPTO and your attorney, then you should be fine. Now, what I don't sell is my LLC, and I don't buy other people's LLCs. So that's the only thing that, and you don't really need to worry about that. I think there was an LLC question. You have your LLC and then you have your Amazon brand. So those, you run your brand under your LLC. Yeah.
So that is, yeah, so it's great. I love all these questions around this type of stuff. Yeah. I mean, along the lines, when someone buys your brand, mostly in the US, it differs by country a little bit. They're going to buy the brand itself, the asset. To Joey's point, they're not going to buy your LLC because they don't want like the tax liability or other liability for the company or the LLC. Typically, they're going to just want to buy the Amazon account, the brand, and the rights to the brand, which is the trademark. So yeah, absolutely, you can buy the trademark. It's good. It's just if it's worth your while to buy it, it may be easier. I always say it doesn't matter how cool or uncool your name is. The biggest thing I like to do with brands too is make sure it's unique. And I like to be able to own the .com version of it. So on GoDaddy. So if I can own the .com, then I'm really comfortable that there's not going to be issues with that brand name because I own the .com. Yeah, a lot of questions about the account. Again, we have a lot of experience in it, but we do have partners that are experts on the LLC setup, corporation setup to get you like your taxes, all that. Great point. So all this stuff goes really well, of course, with getting a great product as well too. What's up, William? Good to see you. What should a trademark usually cost? I'd say, basically up to about $1,000, I would say. Usually you can spend $700. You can do it yourself, I think, for, I don't know what the filing fee is, 400, 300.
Yeah,
and then an attorney for 400.
I'm filing one right now, and it's like the filing fee is like $450, but I like to have somebody do it for me. I think I'm paying them like, I don't know, 900 or 1,000, but it really does depend because there's a lot of different options when you start digging into what you're really trademarking. So it's unique to your business, but that's just what I'm paying.
Yep. We're able to buy the .ca and not the .com. Yeah. I mean, it's up to you, Zane, about which domain. Ultimately you want to, it's worth it to have an attorney do the search. There's the USPTO website for it. So you can search whether the trademark's in existence already. So would it be detrimental to myself legally or the bottom line as a first-time Amazon to just slap a logo on the tag? What a product I'm pushing out. Do I want to trademark for product testing? So yeah, so Blake, to that point, I would say, take to heart what we said, which is, of course, with the product that you choose, make sure that there's value to it. Make sure it's not just a Me Too product. Otherwise, really what you'll just be learning is how the Amazon process works. You won't be learning how to be successful because it takes, the magic is where you provide value to the marketplace. So but essentially to some extent, yes, you can, yeah, we say slap a label, put a little thought into like the design of it, but you don't have to overthink of it. But it's not hard as long as there's some, make sure that you're not conflicting with another brand, and you don't have to go down. Yeah. You don't have to get the brand registry mark. So to answer your question is, yeah, you can do that without worrying about that and see how it goes. And Amazon knows that. That's why they don't require you to be in the brand registry before you begin selling. They're fine with you, getting some success. Just know that there's a lot of features that get turned on once you have there. So for example, the enhanced brand content, which is the bottom of the listing, instead of just like a paragraph and text of when you see like the cool videos, the comparison charts, like the nice images, that's all part of there. And there's a bunch of other features you get as well too. So yeah, Mo leases $350 from Trademark Engine. Yeah, there's multiple places you can do it. Depend, how you want to go about it. So excellent. Blake says, great. S Corp. Yeah. So, Shlomi. So yeah, S Corp, C Corp, LLC. Great question. We can, again, this would be perfect. I will make sure I send you guys a link where you guys can set up a time to talk with like the true experts in this. They're phenomenal. These guys are awesome. It's totally free.
You want me to forward?
You can set up. What's that?
You want me to find the link?
Yeah, if you could. Yeah, if you have the link there, it'd be great.
I can find it.
I love these guys. Yeah, they're really good. I do for our coach, I do have a little training on this, the different things between, so, you can do it as an individual business. I don't recommend it like no protection, because you want some protection around yourself individually. So, LLC, often like an LLC is good. We personally do use an S Corp as well too. It can be a little confusing because there's S Corp that you'll still be an LLC. And then there's a C Corp, but we do S Corp. In our cases, I'd say a lot of people that set up like an LLC, but there's some nuances and differences that you should talk to people. Yeah. Janita says, I don't know who they are. I started with USPTO people and they walked me through the process. Yeah. The USPTO is the Patent and Trademark Office, the US Patent and Trademark Office. That's actually the official government site. And then there's endless companies that can help. It's funny. This is the most questions we've ever had around like the trademark and company setup.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys click that link, yeah, that's great. We'll send it out to you as well too. But to get my brand registry was fast and cheap. Yeah. So Carol, that's a great one too. You don't have to do it in the US. So if you get it in any country, you can get into the brand registry. And once you're in the brand registry in one spot, they'll give it to you for all the marketplaces. So, one of the tips a few years back was, it's what, I think it was Mohammed asked earlier or suggested earlier, which was, yeah, you could like buy a trademark, in Mexico for real cheap, or you could apply in Mexico because the process was cheaper and get up and aboard. And yeah, and Joey said, Mo says, I've heard great things about Prime. Yeah, Prime is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, so they're super great. So yeah, that's like a little golden nugget, those guys. So yeah, they're awesome. But yeah, if you have any questions on the official stuff, yeah, just click there and I think you can book around there. So all right, let's I think those are most of the questions. Again, homework again is to do some work here around your product ideas, right? So make sure you guys get into your Helium 10 account, list out some ideas, brainstorm, play around on Amazon.com. If you can't do all of these, download your worksheet. If you participate in the Facebook group, it'll be ongoing. You'll get more time with us, and we'll share more in there, and you can connect with your other people, right? So, yeah. So, Lee James, for playing with your Helium 10, which features should we look into initially for product research? So, Joe, you have initial thoughts for these guys for them when they're playing around initially?
Yeah, I think initially, like if you're just trying to get used to it, is the extension when you're just searching on Amazon. And then when you decide to actually go into Helium 10, we can show you this tomorrow, but it's, I like to put in keywords when I'm doing searches. And then I leave a lot of the filters blank, and then we'll drill into the filters tomorrow. So I don't know, Leo, that might be like too basic. but we'll go over more tomorrow. If it's too basic
Mohammed,
for
thanks.
you, then put like sales that are around 10,000 a month, and like review score, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 stars, something like that. If you want to like play around with the filters.
Yeah. Love it.
Yes.
Did you mention you will send out a replay for tomorrow's session? Yes, you guys will have access to the replays in your membership area. So no problem around that, Artem. So you will have access to the replay, including today's, of course. Leah says, great. Thanks, Joey.
Good. Yeah, I think the email will come out tonight or tomorrow with your login, right, Jamie? Our tech team does it, so it's not like Jamie and I pushing the button, but pretty sure.
Yeah, we'll get there. And again, if you have any issues in the Facebook group, our tech guy will keep an eye on the Facebook group too. So feel free to chime in there. We're excited about this, especially again with some of the AI tools. Again, don't think of a tool as a tool. So none of this is a magic button or a magic button that you can just push to do one thing, but it gives you like a nice advantage over what we're seeing with some of this stuff. I have other programs yet. If I started on Helium 10, let me go into there's different factors you can play with. If you want to just take like a photo too of the screen or a screenshot, this gives you some of the stuff. Keep in mind, like the filters on a Helium 10, it is like a bit of an art. It's not like, hey, just put in, has less than 300 reviews, put in this. So it is kind of multivariate. So you do want to try different things. And then that's the whole point of validating the ideas and seeing what it looks like at the end of the case. But this is like the criteria, kind of the minimum criteria, right? So we want products at least $25. We want profitability of 35% or greater. Again, as you get into keyword searches, you can get into, we didn't go as much into that today, but keywords that have 5,000 searches or more are, pretty strong keywords. But again, that will vary on how aggressive the product is, how competitive it is. So again, you're trying to find that sweet spot for most sellers. They want to find that sweet spot of, they don't want things too competitive. They don't want the massage guns because they're so competitive, right? But they want to find kind of these niches around some of these categories. And we're gonna may give you a list too, as we have some bonuses for you guys. So may give you guys some ideas for you guys to dig into further. That would just be for you all here that are on the product challenge. So awesome. Joey, any final thoughts for these guys before we wrap up and get back at it again tomorrow? We went a little longer than we thought, but it was fun.
Yeah, thank you all for staying on. The replay will be available. It should be hopefully emailed out tonight, and we'll check with our tech team to make sure it's not really Jamie and I sending it out, but you will get the replay. You're going to get a login and you'll have all 3 of them in your membership area for joining. And no, I just want to say thank you all for staying on. This is really fun. I absolutely love talking about product research, product validation, and answering all Amazon questions. So thank you guys for being so active.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. And again, make sure you're in that Facebook group because we're live streaming this right into the Facebook group right now. So when we end this in a moment, the recording will also be in the Facebook group for you all, as long as you guys are in there. So that's an easy way to get your replay like in 5 minutes. Otherwise we'll go through it. Yes. Leah, thanks. Jamie, Joey, thanks. Yeah. If this was helpful at all, if you don't mind, put it in the chat there. I'd love to just share it with the rest of our team because we have a good sized team that works on all this stuff. If we're hoping you guys got some good value. Sam says, thank you. Yeah, I'd like to just capture any of the feedback you guys have. If, again, hopefully it was helpful. We got more fun tomorrow.
Thanks,
and yeah, sweet. This is pretty cool. Carol's, thank you. Carrie, thank you. Sam. Yeah, a lot of thanks. Thank you. So helpful. Thank you guys. Awesome. All right. Well, this was a ton of fun. Leah, absolutely helpful. Look forward to learning how to use Helium 10. Thank you so much. Hey, congratulations to you guys too for taking the time, showing up, investing in yourself. And then in the Facebook group, hopefully you guys can connect with each other too. So it's not just about, us and you, but also collaborating with other people. That's why, we go out to these events together and we connect with other people. So and we love connecting with you guys in person as well too. Awesome. Joey, final thoughts? Send us off.
See you all tomorrow.
All right. Good night. Do your homework. Let's win together. All right. Thanks, everyone.